We're back after
We're
a
back.
several week hiatus. We are back,
We're back
and
like
it
Cecily
was a great
Strong.
episode. It was a great episode to jump back. Yeah, well, Cecily Strong was back, and that made everybody happy.
Yep. Yeah, it was great. I
It's
mean,
it's great to be back.
totally. And we were talking about it. Like, I had no expectations. I wasn't like thinking, "Oh, this would be the best one ever," but it just felt good to be back and having a few weeks off is definitely a good thing for all of us to tune off, recharge, and come back with some vigor and good ideas. And I think we'll talk about that in a little bit. Like some of the freeing of moving away from the election, getting back to kind of what the show should be always be about.
That's so helpful because it really does add freedom for creativity.
Yeah, definitely. And like letting the talent go home a little bit or go to wherever they're going to and give some time just to recharge and just kind of, you know, brainstorm some ideas and get some new ones and give them a chance to do things, give them some time to cook, if you will.
Spread your wings.
Exactly. Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So let's dive right in. Then we had the cold open. The cold open was I think I texted you Thursday or Friday or maybe Saturday morning about probably some of the recount stuff was going to be had to be involved somehow having Giuliani, but also like it allowed them to not have to utilize Trump, Biden, or Harris, but still keep it political, which I think was huge. To like let's move further and further away from that and those people.
And I think it was amazing that there were Twitter rumors throughout the week that Rudy Giuliani's witness was actually Cecily Strong playing the girl in a conversation you wish you had to start a conversation, or girl at a party you wish you had to start a conversation with, and she made her return playing basically the same character,
Yeah.
but amazingly accurate to perhaps what we saw in those hearings.
Yeah, the girl you don't have a conversation at a party has fallen upon the hard times apparently, and now she's resorted to election tampering. So thoughts and prayers for her.
She had some trouble with dominoes too.
Yeah, yeah. The sketch was great. I mean, I think it was predictable, obvious, but it worked on a lot of levels. I mean, anytime you can get Cecily and Kate working together like that, it's gold. And I thought some parts did stretch out a little bit. Like the military guys, now that was a callback to a few weeks ago, right? A sketch a few weeks back. Now, in that sketch, they got really loud and bombastic, and then they whispered their plan to kidnap the governor. They didn't do that, did they?
No, it was a callback of sorts, but not like a totally accurate one. It was definitely the same characters, but with very different personalities, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I thought like, if you're gonna go in for a dime, go in for the whole dollar. But it was a good use of the talent, a good use of multiple cast members. I noticed too that new cast member Lauren Holt got to say live from New York. I do wonder how many rookies have had that honor bestowed upon them in the first half dozen episodes. Kind of a cool thing for her, and I wonder what that was probably felt like to be.
She got some good screen time this week.
I put that down numerous times. She got a lot of reps in this episode. I'm sure we'll come back to her a little bit later on, but she's definitely being utilized quite a bit.
Yeah.
She's kind of become she's a new 80. I don't want to typecast too much, but like she definitely has taken on some of the 80 roles. As 80 was once again was not in this episode, so perhaps that's not by accident.
And very, very, very little Keenan. Very little Keenan this week.
We'll talk about that too. I think we'll talk about that I think a little bit later on because we do see Keenan. He's great, but very little in the live portion. You like the My Pillow guy in this?
Yeah, it made me laugh just because it was random, and I wouldn't say it's a completely niche reference, but it's pretty close. I don't know how many people automatically recognize the My Pillow guy or appreciate that, but it made me laugh pretty hard.
I'll tell you this much. I didn't know what he looked like until he had that speech at the White House a few weeks back. And moreover, but I knew his voice from the radio commercials. I knew that. And I knew the tie-in and kind of had this idea of like a lot of the people in the Trump sphere are people who are promoting their product and kind of utilizing his presidency as their own personal infomercial. I thought that was subtle and good. I don't think it needed to be in there, but it didn't hurt anything.
No, yeah, it was completely unnecessary, but fine with me.
Yeah,
I
totally.
also would just like to offer as a forewarning, with some of the news about Rudy coming out this week. He's been hospitalized. We may see something. We may see a lot more of Rudy over the next couple of weeks in cold opens. That's my prediction.
Well, yeah. Again, not having to utilize. I think we're going to see at some point in time. Biden's been very low key, Harris been very low key, Trump's been surprisingly low key to an extent. So that may just be where they go with this. And obviously, now that he's ill, and who knows what will happen with it, like you do wonder how they handle that aspect of it, because you toe a line between they're a little too dark, but maybe they don't. I don't know. That'll be a fascinating subplot to watch. It's as of now only Monday, and so a lot of time to kind of let things develop. But yeah, how they handle his, because that didn't come out till what, Sunday, right? It didn't come out till after the show.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon or so.
Okay, so I think a solid cold opening, and to me, you gotta do politics to an extent, but to keep the main players on the bench, but still be political, I think was a nice thing. We have our monologue then. Jason Bateman, this is his second time hosting, and speaking of which, that brings us to our Subway trivia question, brought to you by Subway. You can get deals on foot-long sandwiches. Subway, eat fresh.
So, eat fresh.
As Jason Bateman referenced,
combo.
Okay, I haven't been to Subway in years. I mean, I was kind of a meatball and some of their warm subs, but it's eat fresh, Subway.
Eat fresh.
This is not Jason Bateman's first time. He talked about a live chimp during the closing credits in the sketch they used. Bateman hosted in 2005, and that was his first time hosting. Now, when Jason Bateman did that, he joined his sister, who also hosted the show back in the late 1980s, Justine Bateman, who was a little young me had a crush on Justine Bateman.
Sure.
Anyway, to my count, there have been 7 pairs of siblings, including the Batemans, to have hosted the show. How many of the 6 can you name? Now, I'll give you a couple clues right off the bat. 2 of these I don't think you have any chance of getting, but let me just give you a couple hints here. 3 of the remaining 6 siblings hosted the show together. The other 3 hosted separately. So I think 2 of them you're not going to get. I'm pretty confident you won't get. But I'll give you a chance to cook a little bit here and think it over. 6 sets of siblings have hosted the show, 3 of which did so together.
Probably multiple Baldwins.
Surprisingly, no Baldwin.
Just
only Alec.
Okay.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too.
That is surprising.
Do you want another hint?
Yeah, please.
One of the sets of siblings have different last names.
Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez.
That's one, correct. That is the different last name hosting duo of siblings. Yeah.
Any chance that Donnie and Marie ever hosted?
No, they did not.
Them hosting together would have made sense. Maybe in the 70s.
So the two of the hosting togethers was in 1983. It was the same year. So it was quite a long time ago.
Wow. That is a great question.
Do you want to keep thinking over and we can come back to it later on?
Bill Murray and Joel Murray?
And that surprised me too, that Joel Murray did not host. And any of the folks at home want to correct us, feel free to call in or put a comment down below as to who I'm missing here. But I did not have a Joel Murray hosting stretch on here.
John and Joe Cusack? John and Joan Cusack?
Well, okay, let me check on that one. I don't think I saw that one, but I could be wrong about that. We might have one here. So interesting. Joan Cusack was a cast member. She was a cast member, but did not host. Did not host, but was a cast member.
Well, this is a great question. I don't know. Yeah, this is tough. This is really tough. God, what a good question. You're very good with the questions.
Do you want to think it over, or do you want to just have that right?
Give me some time to think it over, and By the end of our time here, we'll get some guesses and some answers.
Fantastic. So then Bateman's monologue was very straightforward and simple. It was very bland, which is fine. It wasn't huge laughs. It wasn't hugely overdone. It was a nice, good, simple monologue, and that was it. That was fine.
I liked it because it was it was a true story and it was a fun story. It would be like a nice party story. Like if you were at
Yeah,
a cocktail party and Jason Bateman had to tell you a story, that would be a great one to pick.
yeah, it was great, and they had the footage to back it up. And that was fantastic.
Without the
So
footage, the story is not as good. So I'm glad they had that.
totally. So our first sketch was the sleepover sketch. We've seen this before. Was Adam Driver the last
Yeah,
one that happened
that
on?
was Adam
Okay.
Driver. Yep.
Basically a sleepover in which someone makes a huge mess upstairs, and most obviously it's Kate McKinnon's character. I forgot her name. Basically,
Megan,
my show
perhaps?
notes,
Maybe
the
Megan?
Megan, my show notes say this sketch is let Kate cook, let Kate do her thing, and let everyone else kind of just play off her.
It was fine. It was fine, and yes, it showcased Kate. What surprised me was that they've, like you said, they've done this sketch before.
Almost
Um,
verbatim.
yeah, it was almost the exact same sketch, and that's fine. But I of all the sketches I can think of to redo, this wouldn't be towards the top of my list.
No, no, it's. I mean, the alien bit. I get that they kind of that's put out the pasture, and rightly so. But this one is starting to get close to that territory of like, yeah, we get it. Kate's really funny. Kate's really good playing this role. But this was just too. It was too close, too on the nose. The previous version. I think the only difference was the staircase on the other side of the basement. Otherwise, this was basically the same sketch.
Yeah, the Bee Gees.
We
Did the Bee Gees ever host?
the Bee Gees. I do not believe so. The Gibb brothers.
I'm
Yeah, the
thinking
Gibbs.
1983. I'm thinking 1983. That's where my mind's at.
Well, is that you were born that year? Or?
No, 84. I was 84.
Well, okay, okay. The Gibbs did not host. They did musical guests, but they did not host.
Okay.
Um, we then move on to Letters to Santa digital short, in which Pete Davidson is basically it's a parody of the old Eminem song Stan, in which a deranged a fan starts to lose things a little bit, writing repeated letters, hearing nothing back. I thought this was really clever. I thought it was really well done, really well written, really well performed by Pete. And I put it in quotes here. Pete's my most improved this year. He's had an awesome year, and he's doing great stuff.
Yeah, Stan is this is a little known fact. Stan is my favorite of the Eminem songs. I think
Okay.
it's a great song, and I really enjoyed the parody. It was well done, and it was really again kind of a niche reference for those of us who can remember the Grammy performance between Eminem and Sir Elton John. Bowen Yang showing up as Elton was really pretty funny. Um, uh, Dido was there. I thought it was really a good sketch. I enjoyed it. I have no complaints there.
They put a lot into it, and I think the payoff was there. It worked, and even having Eminem at the end wasn't needed, but it's a great when you can do that, can pull that kind of like a pull off. I think it's fantastic.
I agree. How about Owen and Luke Wilson?
No surprise. I thought that for sure was one of them for sure. Luke Wilson, yes. Owen Wilson did not host. That was one of the ones I was double checking to make sure that we had that one. We then go to a karaoke or a lounge. So it's a karaoke. It's a karaoke lounge, I'm guessing, but it turned into like a lounge act.
Yeah.
So I couldn't quite gather if it was karaoke or just like those two women singing early on were just there for whatever reason. And we have Jason Bateman playing Devin, the piano player, wearing a face shield, which is just to me it looks funny always. I think it always looks funny. It's so stupid and it looks funny. He's wearing the gown too. I thought this sketch was fine. I mean, Cecily and Bowen Yang singing together is just good fun. A lot of talent. Not a super creative sketch, but just like illustrating the talent they had there.
What struck me about the sketch is something that I forget a lot when Cecily's on. She's actually got a pretty good voice. She's not a bad singer at all. She's really multi talented. But to your point, we've kind of seen this kind of this kind of sketch a million times before, and it always works. It's fine. The gags are good, the face mask, the gown, etc. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It was totally, completely fine. Totally fine.
There was one moment, and I have to read through the lines here, but like they did say how you have to serve drinks, you have to serve food. And back then, if they let's pass around this hot dog, everyone get one bite. Almost like they were taking a jab at like the stupid rules that some cities are imposing. That's how I interpreted that, was as being, yes, let's be safe, but also a lot of the stuff that's happening is really freaking stupid.
Yeah, I would agree with that interpretation, no doubt.
Okay. We then move on to the
Randy and Dennis Quaid.
Randy was a cast member, but never hosted. But Dennis Quaid did host. But Randy was a cast member. Count the Cusacks.
These are great guesses. These are great guesses.
Well, I had to double check. The answer wasn't online available. So I went through every host ever and it's like double checked everything. And I'm like, Randy Quaid, Dennis Quaid, like it has to be. But no, sure enough, Randy Quaid was a cast member, but never was a host. But again, our viewers at home, please feel free to chime in and correct us.
Anytime.
Next, we had our digital short of
John and Jim Belushi.
No, John, I think John only.
He was only guest.
Now we have talked sometime off camera about the John Belushi documentary that just came out. I've heard amazing things about it, so we'll have to maybe look into that. Our next bit was a digital short of 3 women calling home to their moms saying they're not coming home for Christmas. I thought this was fantastic. I thought this was brilliant. I thought it was like it wasn't a great like unique idea, but the execution, the writing, the pull off. I think this was a great sketch, a great bit.
I think perfect is the right word. It hit it right out of the park. It was accurate. It was funny. It also sent a message, at the very end when they said, stay safe. And I can't speak more highly of the sketch. Well, there's only one other sketch this week that I enjoyed more than this, but I really, really liked this a lot.
And even like they pulled in the dad. Jason Bateman was the white-haired dad who like was kind of like oblivious to the whole world as well. And then Keenan playing the dad of like, just do what your mom wants. Like, what's your mom say? Like this. Both those are both like this typical, I think, dads in this climate. Dad's not gonna get fired up about Christmas the way mom will, but just how dads are about this stuff. Older dads, like to me, it hit this the right note. They didn't go too over the top with it. I said that they could have, but they didn't. I thought that was really well done. Great execution all around. And like you said too, they wrap it up nicely with a really good message of, look, we know this sucks, but like you got to do it. I mean, I thought it was great in all spots. And that was our only Keenan fighting all episodes.
That was it. That was the only Keenan.
I don't know. Was he at closing credits or no? I didn't. I have to go back and look at that one again.
I don't remember.
I don't either. So maybe he wasn't here this week. Maybe he had one extra week at home. We'll see. Because obviously they could film his part from anywhere. It wasn't like he had to be there for that.
Right.
We then had a sketch involving
Peyton and Eli Manning. Peyton and Eli Manning both host.
Wow. You know what? Yes, I didn't catch that one. I think you are right, sir. That is a great catch because Eli Manning for sure hosted, and now I'm thinking about it, Peyton Manning did as well. That was not one of the then not 8 siblings have hosted. Peyton Manning hosted in 2007. And then Eli Manning, I know I saw his name on the list as well. And let's see, he hosted in 2012. So yeah, there you go. Thank you. Adding to the list. Great poll. We'll give you a bonus point there.
Thank you
for not being on that list. We then had a sketch involving Morgan Wallen, in which there was future iterations of Morgan Wallen, first played by Jason Bateman 1 month ahead, and then Bowen Yang 2 months ahead. That got a little bit. They were towing some lines there, but I think they did a good job of playing it off. I mean, this was a great job of. I thought this was really a great idea, and I think it worked very, very well.
I thought so too. I have nothing bad to say about that either, and I give a whole bunch of credit to Morgan Wallen, not only for publicly saying, yeah, I screwed up, but poking some fun at himself too.
Yeah, and how the 1 month later, Jason Bateman was kind of like, we got to stop this, and like, maybe we stick around for 5-10 minutes. And so I thought that was great evolution. I mean, what a commendable job by him of kind of owning it. Really some good maturity there. The sketch was fine. It was funny. It was good. But I think more so just like what this meant was a bigger great thing. Now, one thing I noticed in this sketch was there was a lot of extras in the background, and really only Chloe Fineman was used in this sketch. I always wonder about that. Like, why they use extras sometimes when why don't you just use talent in these spots? I've always kind of been confused about that because. Go ahead.
I always wonder if it lessens the star power of the cast if they're just sitting in the back doing nothing. I wonder if they do that quite purposely to try to keep the players more featured and more special.
Okay, because that one they hung on the scene a couple seconds long, and you see Chloe Fineman dart off right away to go presumably to her next costume change, whatever. And the rest of the actors kind of were lingering there, just like not moving because they had nowhere to be. I always kind of wonder what drives them to do that versus just using cast members when a lot of cast members didn't get a lot of time in this episode. So I always wondered about that.
That's always been my guess, but I could be wrong.
We then have update, which I thought was kind of odd that we'd update before the first musical guest, maybe because he was in a sketch and they want to give him time to resettle. And the first minute and a half or so were political jokes, but then they went off that. And I thought this was the best update of the season. I thought some fantastic joke writing in this episode.
And I love Bailey. I got very excited when I saw Bailey. I love Bailey. That's one of my favorite recurring characters. I think she's very funny because with you and I working in a high school, I think that we've been part of conversations with kids like that, where it's just it's very funny. It's very, very accurate.
There was a sketch a couple years back, I think, with like maybe Scarlett Johansson and Cecily Strong, maybe, and they're like at a museum, and they're going like, okay, so random, like that awkward kind of teenage girl, and we both loved it. It got almost no laughs, I feel, and never came back. But like you and I could relate to it. I thought it was very well written, very well pulled off, and yeah, I thought Bailey was great looking at older movies like Forrest Gump, and what else? American Beauty. Can't do it anymore. No, I thought that was really a really clever way to like keep her character real, but also keep it tied to what's happening in the world and watching old movies with your dad, like from the 1990s, so long ago. There were a couple jokes to me about the beaver moon. Was fantastic. The joke about Arby's, the joke about the kid in the Chinese factory who swallowed magnets, and I mean some really cringy jokes, but that's what this is supposed to be about.
And they're very quick, not necessarily one-liners, but very, very quick jokes. And so you got to pay attention, which I like too. They're not overt. They don't hit you over the head. You got to be listening,
And Pete Davidson played Pete Davidson, kind of back in Staten Island. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really good observations, good, point out some great stuff. It wasn't anything like exceptionally well, but it just it was a great bit. And I think Pete Davidson, whatever he's doing now for himself, I think he's come a long way, and I'm happy to have him in this stable situation.
I think he's really come a long way this year, as you said. I'm happy to see it, and I hope he stays on the same path he's on.
Totally. I think we then had Morgan Wallen coming out after update, I believe. We had two by him, right? Yeah, we had two Morgan Wallen performances, one rep update. And then after his first performance, then we had the sketch at the shopping mall.
Mm-hmm.
And one that was perhaps predictable as to how they were going to do it. But my God, the execution was just unbelievably good. Now, you, sir, are a veteran of live theater, correct?
Well, I don't know if a veteran, but yes, I've done some.
How hard is something like that to have pulled off? Well, let's set the stage here. It's a mall Santa and Mrs. Claus, but they're in bubbles because of obviously the pandemic, and things just go terribly wrong very quickly. How hard is it to do something like that with the physical component to this live with very little space to maneuver or little time to practice with this?
And I'd take it even a step further. I can't imagine they did too much in the way of, I don't know what kind of rehearsing they would have done for fear of actually injuring themselves. So I'm sure there were rehearsals. I'm sure they went through it. But that's so unpredictable in a ball like that, in a globe like that, where no matter how many times you try it, it's going to be different when you do it live. And I mean, we saw towards the end, like Cecily ended up rolling right over someone. I'm sure that wasn't planned, but God, it was perfect. It was this, as I referenced earlier. This was the only sketch I liked more than the Moms for Christmas, because this was. I hope that this becomes one of the Christmas classics that you see each year when they do the Saturday Night Live holiday specials, because it was just so good.
From the beginning, you could see Cecily's globe was like not quite fully full. She was kind of pushing up a little bit, and I mean, obviously, I adore her, but like I don't know how many cast members could have held that together, holding the cupcakes, delivering her lines, and keeping it all together the whole time. Not dropping the cupcakes, not like losing it by laughter. And Jason Bateman as Santa, I thought was fantastic as well.
That's really that's a huge testament that Lorne or whoever must have in Jason Bateman to put him in that spot, because that is hard to do. I mean, like,
you think
to your point, there are so few cast members that could pull it off. So putting a host in there, amazing.
You would think that Jason Bateman would more likely be the dad in that situation, right? Like it'd be more logical if you were in charge of that show. You'd probably feel better about putting Jason Bateman as the dad and putting like Kyle Mooney or someone in that role as Santa. I mean, it was so well done, so good. Now, what's your thoughts on when they incorporate bringing in like kids like that to perform? I know these are not just like kids off the street. These are kids who are probably in acting classes and such. But like, where's Andrew Duzmekis in some? Where's Chloe Fineman in that? Like, why are we going to a little kid? I get why, but like, I don't know. Is Andrew Duzmekis, is he not okay? Like, is he not, no faith in him? Like, what's going on with him?
He had a very small role in the Morgan Wallen sketch, I believe.
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't remember seeing him. I don't know. If you're not, again, I think if you're not going to use them, it again, I wonder if it lessens their ego or whatever to just be standing there as a little kid. If you got a little kid to use, what the heck?
Yeah,
And maybe that's somebody's, yes, they're actors, but maybe it's somebody's niece or nephew or whatever, and okay, give them a little exposure,
Okay. Yeah, I was always curious about that, and like, again, with someone who looks like Andrew Duzmekis, like he is, just so young looking and so small, in that.
Macaulay and Kieran Culkin?
No, Kieran is not hosted yet. I would not be surprised if he hosts sometime down the road, but he did not host. Now, there was did I miss a bit? I think there was something, speaking of Chloe Fineman, there was a reference to Chloe Fineman earlier in which she played Nicole Kidman's character from the show Undoing. Did I miss something somewhere?
I'm trying to remember. Was that the 11:55 sketch?
I don't think so. Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe I missed it. I thought I got them all on here. I don't know if you're the folks at home can tap into this.
Well, what was the 11:55 sketch? Was the guy that kills the bit?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, Chloe Fineman did play. What was it? She wasn't in. She wasn't in Stan. That wasn't in Stan.
Maybe it was. Maybe that could be actually. I'll look back on that one. We'll bring it up next week on our next week's show.
Sure. Who's hosting next week? Do we know?
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
And then your guy Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band will be there next week.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm with you. I think this sketch though is an all timer Christmas, and it's gonna be one of those ones that like I think to me will be timeless because of the time in history that we're at. And like 20 years from now, who knows what the heck the show is gonna be or how it resonates down the road. But like people are like, what the heck? What's going on with this? Why are they in bubbles? And like, and to me, it was just so good, so well written. It wasn't any revolutionary like idea, but it was so executed, so well written. And I think it was just great. It was fantastic.
I agree. I agree.
Um, then
I can't. I have nothing bad to say about it.
we close out with Kyle Mooney is the guy who kills the bit. I thought it was as good as fine. I think we all can maybe relate to this type of situation. Either we are that person or know that person. And we've had numerous times in which the women have been in ensemble things. This season we have a couple with the YMCA and the men. This was the gentlemen. I like when they incorporate lots of people like this. It wasn't the best idea, but it was not bad either.
Yeah, I know we can all relate to that. We all know someone like that. And what I liked about the sketch best was when he made his last joke. As soon as he made the last joke, to myself, I went, that's not bad. And then immediately on the couch, the next line was, yeah, that's not bad. So it was very relatable and very, very, very pleasant sketch.
Having the self-awareness to acknowledge that you are that guy is big. We then cut to the closing, and again, I saw no 80. I'll go back and see if there was any Keenan in there. I don't believe so.
I don't remember.
I thought the chimp was going to be there. Maybe it was the normal times they would have had the chimp because he did say in the monologue the chimp is still alive. Maybe if things were easier to move around and travel around, they would have brought the chimp in for a guest appearance. But these are tough times.
Yeah.
So as reference, we got Timothy Chalamet. Now I know Chloe Fineman has impersonated him before, so I'm guessing we'll see that come out at some point. Bruce Springsteen. I do wonder, Bruce Springsteen would have been probably more of an ideal musical guest for the Christmas show, but I do wonder if he'll do a Christmas medley of some sort. He's kind of very well known for the Santa Claus is coming to town, so you wonder if there'll be a Christmas medley on this Saturday.
My prediction is that he will sing "Letter to You," which is his new single first, and then probably end the show with "Santa Claus is Coming to Town." I remember Paul McCartney did that a few years ago with. It wasn't. I can't remember. It was definitely a Christmas song, but I can't remember which one it was. But they ended the show with a sing along.
I know. A couple years ago, Foo Fighters did one of their songs with the Charlie Brown Christmas. And then they cut to all the cast members outside figure skating on the Rockefeller thing. So I always love this time of year on the show. I think it's a fun, I think New York at Christmas time is always a special thing. So I hope they do some Christmas stuff with it. I didn't know anything this past week, but hopefully next week they'll incorporate some of the seasonal stuff to it. It's always a fun touch.
Now you got to give me these pairs because I'm going to get angry with myself for not knowing.
Okay, so first I'll do the two that I thought no way you're going to get these. The first set of brothers were the Smothers Brothers.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Now they're actual brothers, right? They actually are brothers. Yeah. They hosted twice together. Okay. Bo and Jeff Bridges hosted together at 83. I don't think you ever gotten that one. If I give you a million guesses.
Okay.
We then had in the 90s we had Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah.
And then we had, I don't know who crossed the threshold first, but the Hemsworth brothers, Liam and Chris.
Chris, yeah.
And then the Affleck brothers. Ben hosted many times in the 90s and 2000s, and Casey hosted a few years back.
I wouldn't have gotten Casey Affleck if you paid me $1 million.
Well, you got the bonus point for the Manning brothers, and obviously the Estevez Sheen connection. So that was darn good. But I had a lot of fun making that list. I'll tell you what.
Oh, I had a lot of fun guessing that list. I was going to. I'd like to know. This is going to be a fun question to look up. It was 15 years between Jason Bateman's host duties. What is the longest someone has gone between hosting duties? I wonder if that's it.
Yeah, there's probably someone that was like a long in the '80s and then came back in the 2000s, but 15 years would be a long time between the
Maybe
other.
like a Molly Ringwald or someone like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll do some research for that one. I'll have a couple of questions for Timothy Chalamet, and then we close out the season. Then the following week with Kristen Wiig and I forgot who the musical guest was.
I don't recall.
Oh man, it's gonna slip my mind here.
Kristen Wiig's always a hit, though. We love when Kristen Wiig is there. She's God. Put her with Kate and just have some fun.
Yeah, I stand by my prediction. You know that we are going to get Amy Coney Barrett. I'm not selling that ticket yet. There's no reason why they would do it. But at the same time, I feel as if we're going to get that at some point. But I'm just going to hold on to that card, you know, for no real reason. I'm just trying to kill time here. Say it again.
Just in case.
Right. Dua Lipa is musical guest for Kristen Wiig on the 19th to close out this season. Chloe Feynman played Nicole Kidman in Undoing in the Cold Open. It was part of the Cold Open.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was a very busy Cold Open. A lot of characters coming in and out. So
have to keep track.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we got Bruce Springsteen and Timothy Chalamet coming up next week.
And we can't wait.
It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it again. I was happy with this past week. Let's keep the mojo going.
And it's so great to be back. We're going to do it one more time next week, then the week after. And then who knows? Who knows? Could be anything.
All right.
All right. Say good night, Joseph.
Good night, Joseph.